Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today I figured why don't we kind of finish up some of the Dark Knight stuff that we have, and we're going to take a look at the Walgreens exclusive Flash and Atom figure from DC Multiverse. Here we have Flash and the Atom in the front window box, DC Multiverse logo on the top, nothing on that side. We get some artwork on this side, and unlike the others, we actually get a little bit of a read up here. When the Flash is imprisoned and forced into the service of his enemies, the Atom helps to free him. And on the back, we actually don't have a wave for him. Instead, they give us some of the different figures that have come out from other waves, kind of showing all the Dark Knight figures. I thought that was kind of cool. And then, whoops, down here, there we go. We do have the UPC code, so you can check with your local Walgreens to see if they have that in stock. But enough about that. Let's get this open and take a look at the Flash and the Atom. And here are the Flash and the Atom out of their packaging, and, you know, it's another Multiverse Mattel figure. So unfortunately you got these really big peg holes on the joints, you got single joints, you got pretty meh articulation, and oddly enough I always think Mattel's paint is usually pretty on point. I don't know what paint method they use that Hasbro doesn't, but a lot of times it seems like their paint is a little bit better. This one, there's a couple of little meh things about it. You can also see these guys here, his little lightning bolts coming from his shoes are bent. Out of the packaging, they're not sticking through any opening or anything in the plastic. They're just pushed up against the back of the plastic. So you can probably straighten these out, but I just wanted to show that because this is just a straight out of the box review. He does come with one accessory, which is the Unmasked Bruce Wayne head, which we're going to take a look here on our Dark Knight Batman in 1 second. And then we'll get a closer look at the Atom, and then we'll get a closer look at the Flash. Well, guys, in true Mattel fashion, yeah, they strike again. So even though I was using a heat gun to try to get the head off, it was just on there so tight, which I've only popped off a few heads of Mattel figures before, and it's never been easy. But yeah, it broke. There's a little hinge piece that holds it on, and it broke right off. So yeah, that is what it would look like. Oh, I don't even know if I'll be able to get it on there. That is what the head sculpt would look like if my joint didn't break. But yeah, that is just another reason why I try so hard to love Mattel. But man, they just got to do something about these molds and everything. Thankfully, Ollie's right now just got in a bunch of these figures, so it shouldn't be a big deal to get him replaced with a non-broken one. And I know what you're thinking, it just broke. Why would I give another $10 to them to replace it? But hey, I do want it to work. But taking a look real quick at the head sculpt anyway, it's not bad. I think it came through looking pretty good. It's definitely a grizzled old man, and I like that look. The hair came out pretty good. You got some decent shadowing in the hair, and yeah, paint came out okay. So yeah, but man, that is just a bummer. So be careful, guys. Be very, very careful swapping this out, because you don't want to have the same thing happen to me. To happen to you. You don't want to break that piece, and it's such a weird joint too. God, bummer. And here's a good look at the Atom, and for scale, there's that head that we just had. So he's about two Bruce Wayne heads tall, but pretty cool little guy. I mean, he's obviously not articulated in any way. It's just a tiny little figure. The detail that they attempted to put on here is, they made an attempt. The fact that they got the logo on the head, and then it's a little off center, but they got the logo on the chest there too, or his abdomen. That's pretty cool, and you can see actually a little bit of detailing. It looks like he's got a little belt there. Hands didn't really come out to do much. Legs got some actual definition. You can see some kneecaps there. So yeah, they actually put a little bit of work into that little body mold, but yeah, pretty neat little fella. And here's Flash up close and personal, and yes, I know what I just said about Mattel's paint jobs usually being pretty good, and this one definitely you can see a lot of overpaint on the mask, a lot of smudges, some even, some really poor painting, really uneven. The sculpt looks cool. Nothing that we haven't seen before with some of the DCUC classics. This is the same head sculpt that was in the Target 2-pack that had the New 52, or actually it said Rebirth, but it looked like a New 52 Flash to me, with the movie Flash as well. So the head sculpt's nothing new, and the head sculpt's good, don't get me wrong, but yeah, definitely the line work did not come out so great on this one. Look at right there under those eyes. Yeah, and the nose. That's a bummer. Looking at the rest of the figure, though, the logo. So this is kind of when I say that Mattel's painting usually looks good. Like, logos are usually pretty vibrant, and I think that one looks good. Doesn't really look too weird. The line work on it looks good. One area, again, where the paint seems kind of odd. Boy, sorry about all the... seems to be really overexposing itself there, but yeah, that looks kind of sloppy. And then same thing when we get down here on the legs, it looks kind of sloppy again. Like, yeah, they couldn't really figure out if they were going for just squares or lightning bolts or what. Doesn't line up well. Yeah. The body mold itself doesn't look too bad, but again, this is a pretty generic body mold. We've seen this style before. It's not really all that dissimilar from the body molds that we just looked at with the Super Friends set. So, you know, decent musculature. Oh, yeah, his boots. I want to get those because those things are crazy looking. I did try to straighten one of those lightning bolts out, and you can see it went okay. The other one, that is still the out-of-packaging one there. So with a little work, you can get that straightened out if you try. I just, didn't really care too much to do it for this review because, again, I want you guys to see what it looks like out of the box so you know what you got to do for it. Let's go ahead and take a look real quick at the articulation. And looking at the scale real quick, we can see that Flash is coming in at about 6.5 inches tall. And again, this is a Mattel figure, so don't expect much in the way of articulation. You got a head that doesn't really look down, doesn't really look up, but of course it can turn from side to side. And yeah, these are soft goods, so you shouldn't have too much trouble turning the head around with that. Arms do go up to right about those notches there, so they do stop in that little T-pose. You get, of course, full rotation. You do have a bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, swivel on the wrist, but no type of hinge articulation. You got a ab crunch that doesn't really go down far, doesn't really go back far. You do have a waist swivel, which is nice. You got those great Mattel leg joints, so you get a really big wide stance. And you can kick forward pretty far. You can kick backwards. Got that weird lower thigh cut, single jointed knee, and then you just have a hinge on the ankle, no type of pivot. And for a quick comparison, here we have Flash and the Atom down there standing next to the other characters from the Frank Miller universe. We have Superman, Wonder Woman, and then we have that Bruce Wayne head sitting on top of that broken Batman neck. Ugh, that's probably the worst part about this review. And that about does it for this review, everyone. So, yeah, all in all, I keep wanting Mattel's figures to be getting better and better. I continue to get them because I do want to support it. I'm a much bigger DC fan than I am Marvel. But, man, Hasbro's really got the monopoly on quality figures because the articulation is just so off. The giant peg holes is just so distracting. I mean, look at that. Their sculpt work is always decent, and the paint jobs actually are not bad, but man, if they could just figure out the articulation so that you could get some sort of dynamic posing with these figures, they would really be on board with it. And an unintended side effect of this review, if they could do something about making their accessories easier to swap out. There is no reason, I've never, in swapping out a head on a Marvel Legends, have I ever been concerned about breaking the head. And on this one, not only was I concerned about breaking it when I was pulling it off, but I did in fact break it. So, I mean, why give us a piece that is intended to be used when the figure itself that it's meant to be used on is just so potentially flawed? So that right there, if anything, this review taught me the build quality on these figures. But anyway, guys, if you like this review, please hit the like button. If you like this content, please hit subscribe. I'm doing many, many reviews. A lot more coming. I got a lot of things sitting in a box that I just haven't reviewed yet. And some of it's old, some of it's new. So, but like I said, hit that like button if you like the video. Leave a comment down below. Hit that subscribe button for more content. And as always, have a great day.